Joining us right now is a man who was at that concert and helped a lot of people. I think of him as a hero because that's what he did. Please welcome to Dominic in the Morning, Michael Guggen. How are you, Michael?
Hi, Dominic. I'm good. As best as could be expected, I guess.
Yeah, I know. It's weird because, like, yesterday we had a meeting and everybody said everybody was affected by it here in Montana. And I was like, well, yeah, every stuff like this affects everybody, but you were there. Tell me what happened.
Well, I was with my wife, Jamie Gogan. We really love country music. We had been to this festival past couple of years in a row. It had been wonderful. First 2 days, it's all incredibly happy vibe in the audience and with us. And even that last night, it had been fantastic. We might have missed that part. We were just showed up a few acts before Jason Aldean, which was what we were looking forward to. And in fact, when he was playing, that literally felt like sort of the peak of the happiness and the love and positive attributes of the whole festival. It really felt like it was peaking right around then, and that's when everything turned.
Do you like? Does it start like you're hearing shots, or do you start hearing people screaming? Or what's the first thing that made you aware? I know the artist left the stage. I know I heard his band left behind him, and then he left. But what was? When did you first realize? Oh my God, me and my wife are not safe. Something's wrong.
Well, we were where we were sitting in the sort of facing the stage, the right corner. That happened to be closest to the Mandalay Bay. It was up and behind us across Las Vegas Boulevard. Mm-hmm. So I suppose that was an advantage in terms of, was a disadvantage, I guess, being in the line of fire, but an advantage in that when the noise started, it was fairly clear where it was coming from. It was coming from up and above behind us. But we did at first think it was some sort of fireworks. And I think the first feeling was just annoyance, especially my wife, Jamie. She loves this act, and we both looked at each other and annoyed who would be trying to just screw up the concert like this. Right. But then the noise continued. It was an automatic long burst. And as you've seen from videos, at the end of that long first burst of automatic fire, that's when the music stopped and the band exited, and this ripple of panic struck the audience on the main floor.
Could you actually see, when you looked at the hotel, could you see like what window the firing was coming from?
No, and I don't want to make it sound like I knew precisely.
Right.
It's just that was the direction of the sound, and I guess registered in my brain was someone's doing something up high in the Mandalay Bay. But no, we never saw a window or anything like that.
This is a total mystery. Some people are wondering if there was two shooters. People are wondering what this is all about. Mike, you are founder of Two Bear Air. You do air rescues on helicopters?
Yeah, that's right.
So
founded the station a few years ago, and then actually joined the crew this past year. Just trying to help people in the Northwest who are lost or stuck or suffered some kind of trauma out in the wilderness.
Mike, I got to tell you, that's great. You want to help people and helping people. I admire. If I was somebody was attacking me, I wish to goodness you and your wife were with me, because at least you might do something to help me. The air rescue thing probably is an advantage. So you see the shooting. I was reading some stuff. Your wife was I think she was on Instagram saying stuff like people are scared, and she was relaying to what was happening.
She was a photographer. Matter a natural instinct, I think, is to start recording things that are happening. But she was an incredible hero. I think much more so than I was. We were starting to head towards the exit when it became clear that it was gunshots. Although in my head, I still wasn't clear whether someone was actually shooting at people or someone was, again, just being super obnoxious and trying to disrupt this wonderful show, similar to a bomb scare or some other act where the point is really just to cause panic and disruption. So we started heading towards this corner exit where there was a fairly safe kind of retaining wall that people were filing along. And when we got there, I told Jamie to, okay, you stay right here or keep going, and I turned around to come back in, and she, what are you doing? And, and she, I guess, quickly knew what I had to do, so she said, I'm coming with you. And next thing you know, for the next, as long as it took, I think it was at least an hour and a half, probably longer, we were just there tending to victims. We had passed the first gunshot victim that we saw right as we got towards the exit. Mm-hmm. And that was the next level of realization that not only was it gunshots, but people had actually gotten shot. So that just put it in a whole different context.
I was amazed. I was watching some of the interviews while things were happening, and they were interviewing a guy, and he had no shirt on, and I thought, well, this is weird. Why is this? And then I found out that everyone was taking off their clothes, their shirts, their undershirts, or whatever they had, to stop bleeding, which was amazing to me. That everybody was trying to help.
There was a tremendous number of people that were trying to help. I would say, the majority of people that were uninjured and didn't have a loved one that had gotten hit, they made it to safety. So I think the majority of the people left behind, which is fortunately a minority of the very large crowd, were people that were either injured themselves or trying to tend to a loved one, or I suppose people like myself. I had several of the people I was working with on different patients, and either trying to treat their wounds or trying to carry them. You quickly say who you were, not name, but the person with you would say, I'm an EMT, I'm an EMT, or I'm an off-duty cop, or whatever. And so it was more sort of first responder type folks, I think, that stayed that didn't have a direct reason to.
Right. People are good, Mike, and we because there's some evil slime bags in our life, we tend to think most people are good, most people follow the rules, most people care about stuff, and we forget about that. And Mike, let me tell you, when someone's shooting or there's a fire, someone like you who runs into it to help people, I just admire that, because the first thing is to run from shooting, and I admire that you did that. And your wife, what a great lady, man.
She was incredible. Yeah, she does not have EMT training and doesn't hang out with helicopters and doesn't worry about the blades hitting the rocks that are 3 feet away when you're going down in a canyon. She doesn't have to worry about any of that yet. She turned around and ran back in, and Jamie doesn't have the medical training, but there were cases where she was helping carry folks, and she was doing a tremendous job just consoling.
Right.
There were people, dead bodies already that were encountering, and there'd be someone just in total shock, holding the hand of their wife or husband or whoever was under that sheet or that T-shirt, laying there deceased, and Jamie was kneeling down and doing her best to help her.
Yeah.
But just to give you a sense for Dominic, I talk about saving people. The thing that haunts me now is I wish I knew that we had actually saved, in the true sense of the word, anybody. But because most of the wounds we encountered were so serious, gunshot wounds to the head, gunshot wounds to the chest, and even if the patient was conscious, I knew that medically the main thing we had to do is just transport. So if anything, I guess we and all the others that were trying to help can be credited with just speeding up transport and getting them to the hospital. Now, what happened after that? We're wishing and praying and kind of haunted by the thought that we just hope that helped them,
I know there are a few more in critical condition, and I think another one passed this morning. I think the total's up to 59, but I'm not exactly sure. And I saw this great video. I don't mean it in a good sense, but I saw this guy run to a car. A lady's driving a truck, and he says, "We got to get to the hospital." She jumps out of the truck, says, "Go ahead." Gives them her truck, and I was just like, "Wow, this is what good. This is what happens when people all pull together." Now there are things. One of the things that really freaked me out, Mike, is and him and his wife, I consider them heroes, ran in to help people, which is just a great thing. What really bothered me is some people were killed and shot while they were giving CPR, and you kill people, then you see somebody giving CPR and you shoot them. What I don't understand. So you had to be, what you're doing is you're helping somebody, you're carrying somebody, and your life and your wife is in danger.
Yeah, the last, I could can really keep count while you're concentrating on
right.
what you do. But at least the last sustained burst of automatic fire that we heard was happening while we and others were tending to victims. And I guess at least there's stuff you don't really think about that you're going to get hit or not, and not a whole lot you can do about that. So you just try to focus on whatever it is you are trying to accomplish, which would be to help somebody. So yeah, I could understand. I didn't know about those cases, but I believe them based on how the bullets were spraying around the whole area where people were. I also want to note that the evil here is beyond any comprehension.
Yeah.
One of the examples of that, in my mind, was when Jamie and I started focusing mainly on getting these victims out to transport. And as you mentioned, what that consisted of in the first 30 minutes was getting people into civilian vehicles. We were commandeering all kinds of cars in the back street behind the main arena, getting the victims in. Well, later, I happened to notice there were deceased people all along that street that had fallen in place. And what that told me is that the shooter had not only shot where the mass crowd was initially in the concert, but had intentionally shot where they were all exiting to. They knew the funnel point. You knew the funnel points where people would stream out to get away, and that's also where many bullets were sprayed. So that was just a whole new level.
My two last questions. This horrible thing happened, and a lawyer, a CBS lawyer, tweeted out that she didn't really care because people who like country music are Trump supporters, and so she feels no sympathy. And CBS fired her, thank God, like 10 seconds after she said that. But I know there's people supporting, but in this world there are crazy people. Have you got any crazy people or seen any of this craziness?
No, I mean, Jeannie and I have been pretty, shell-shocked and focused on just trying to, recover our sanity here in our sleep. So, no, I haven't paid a lot of attention to that. I hope there isn't much.
And that's the last question I wanted to ask you. And you're back in Montana, so you're safe. But the aftershock. I mean, now I don't want to be sexist, but you're a guy. You've dealt with people in situations where you help them. So you're even shell shocked. But your wife, to be thrown into something where you look over and someone's bleeding from the head, it's the most horrible thing ever. Are you worried? How's she doing?
We're probably both in a similar mental state, but I have to say, even though she didn't have the training, it was amazing to see somewhat of the same reaction kick in, which was when all of a sudden you knew that all that mattered was just trying to help these people. Jamie was showing no sign of panic, and she was just doing what had to be done. The aftershock, I use that word, to me was, I guess, when the adrenaline wears off a few days later, it's just the thought process of, either what you went through. For me, it's the second guessing about victims. Did I do everything I could? Was there anyone else I could have done something different to save? I had to at least 3 just, pass away in my arms. And you just really bothers you, That's what, if anything, you could have done. I guess the only way to hang on to your sanity is when you check with other friends and experts. I've spoken to some of the other folks on the Tuva Air Rescue Team, the medical director, and so on. I just went through every victim I encountered and said that I do everything I possibly could. It was very reassuring. I mean, obviously, those kinds of wounds, the right thing was what we did focus on, which was transport. Just try to get them out, and we did succeed in really speeding up the transport.
And even Mike, even the comfort of somebody's hurt, bleeding, shot, even the comfort of just a human being there, even if they're just holding their hand, that's got to mean something. It's amazing, Michael. You and your wife are heroes, and I commend you, and I wish you nothing but the best. And I pray that this doesn't affect you or your wife in a negative way, being shell-shocked, and I wish the best for you, and God bless you, man. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Dominic.